and welcome to DC Daily. I'm Tiffany Smith, and it is Wednesday, September 19th, 2018. I have got tons of news to share with you, so let's get started. The relaunch of DC Vertigo has been a huge success, spearheaded by the return of the Sandman universe. But newcomers like Border Town are also catching the attention of fans. The book follows a Mexican and Irish-American boy named Frank, who moves to the fictional Devil's Fork, Arizona. This town not only lies on the border of the U.S. and Mexico, but also the realm of the living and the supernatural. It's a poignant take on the state of the world from writer Eric M. Esquivel and artist Ramon Villalobos, and the story deals with problems ranging from racial tensions to monsters of Mexican folklore. The book is so popular that DC has already ordered a second printing, having completely sold out after its first week. So, if you're late to the party, you are in luck and can pick up the first issue of Bordertown again on October 10th. If you already grabbed a copy, then you can look forward to the second issue on October 3rd. Today is the official launch of DC Black Label. Some of these stories include Superman Year One by Frank Miller and John Romita Jr., Three Jokers by Jeff Johns and Jason Fabok, Batman Last Night on Earth by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, and Wonder Woman Historia, The Amazons by Kelly Sue DeConnick and Phil Jimenez. It will also include classic comic books like Batman Year One, Kingdom Come, and DC The New Frontier. But the first new comic under DC Black Label is Batman Damned #1 by Brian Azzarello and Lee Bermejo, and it launches today. This first of 3 parts reveals that the Joker has been killed, but with several blank spots in his memory, Batman is having trouble finding out who did it. With even the Dark Knight on the suspects list, he turns to an unusual source for help in John Constantine. The pair will have to take a deep dive into Gotham City's sordid underworld to unravel this mystery. Next up is Justice League #8. In this second Legion of Doom spotlight story, we get to see what Lex Luthor offers Cheetah and Black Manta to add them to his ranks. Issue #8 may also shed some light on how Luthor was able to track the Batman Who Laughs following DC's Metal event from a few months ago. Finally, the special extra-large anniversary issue, Harley Quinn #50, is out this week. In it, Harley breaks all of reality after finding a comic book that she stars in. How meta. It's the same zany humor that Harley is known for, but on a supersized scale. And it's written by DC Daily's very own Sam Humphries, so check it out. And speaking of Harley Quinn, you have to check out Heroes in Crisis, a special 7-issue limited series by Tom King and Clay Mann that kicks off next week. This murder mystery revolves around a massacre that takes place at Sanctuary, a special facility set up to aid heroes dealing with the trauma associated with crime fighting. Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, Harley Quinn, and Booster Gold take center stage in this series, and it is going to be an event you don't want to miss. The variant covers for Justice League have been great, and we got a sneak peek at issue #9's. Jim Lee tweeted out this image that he drew highlighting The Flash. Jim was here on the set of DC Daily and drew us a couple images of Batman, and you can go back and check him out over on our live stream or our Batman Day special to see Jim in action. And now, let's check in with our own Hector Navarro.
Hey DC Universe, today we're talking about the very first episode of the Wonder Woman series, the made-for-TV pilot that was called The New Original Wonder Woman, starring the amazing Linda Carter. And I think we can all agree that Linda Carter was perfectly cast as Diana, and I gotta mention, Lyle Waggoner is such a charming Steve Trevor. Plus, this very first pilot episode has got Cloris Leachman playing Queen Hippolyta of Themyscira, which is awesome, and the late great Kenneth Mars, who plays Colonel Von Blasco, who you may know from shows like Malcolm in the Middle. You know him from classic Mel Brooks movies. You may know him as the voice of King Triton from the Little Mermaid films. So that's pretty great that Kenneth Mars is in this, and he does such a great job. He's so funny. He's such a great actor. And I gotta say, it is so interesting to watch storytellers tell us the origin of Diana, a.k.a. Wonder Woman, in the year 1975. There are so many similarities to Wonder Woman's first live-action movie starring Gal Gadot. It is really remarkable. And we get a bunch of great comic book references, too. Bullets and bracelets. The whole thing takes place in World War II. And we even get the invisible plane. The jet came later. It was a plane, baby. That's what it was. So guys, this show, this amazing show, this pilot is on DC Universe right now. So go check it out and fall in love with Diana all over again.
The superpowers of DC's heroes are just as multifaceted as the multiverse itself. And Amazon's latest release, Anatomy of a Metahuman, gives fans the inside scoop. We caught up with artist Ming Doyle to get a look behind the scenes at some of the stunning artwork inside. Check it out.
So DC Anatomy of a Metahuman is kind of a little bit of a textbook take on Bruce Wayne's note-taking abilities. The conceit is if he were to keep a handwritten journal with his observations of some of his friends and foes in the DC universe and his thoughts of what it looked like on the inside of them, what their strengths and weaknesses might be, then this would be that notebook. So I guess I'm kind of the hand of Bruce Wayne in this. Will Dennis, who was an editor at Vertigo that I worked with on The Kitchen, emailed me at one point saying that he had heard of a new project that I might be a good fit for, which was Anatomy of a Metahuman over at Insight Editions. So he hooked me up with the editors over there, and originally I was only going to do one chapter, but then they decided they wanted to expand my role to draw the entire book, which I think is nice. It's more cohesive Bruce Wayne's entire style. I definitely drew from Leonardo da Vinci's sketchbooks, I think most obviously, and that was at the direction of the writing and editorial team. But I also thought of, Grey's Anatomy, even my own sketchbooks, how I, as an artist, walk around and kind of observe things and jot notes to myself. It was kind of fun to think about how Bruce Wayne might in some ways be kind of just or I guess Batman might be kind of just a normal person who would keep his own notes. So just a lot of hodgepodge of influences there. In addition to my comic book friends, I have a lot of friends that are like medical professionals, and they were very interested in the book. There was some direction in the script, like there should be a drawing here that kind of shows the way that Bizarro's brain looks, and then that's very open-ended. It's up to me. I get to just decide what that looks like. And then there were more kind of distinct descriptions, like for Superman, could you kind of do a play on Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man sketch, which is so famous and iconic. I had a lot of fun thinking about some of the characters, like Cheetah particularly, who's the character that I don't know that much about personally, actually. I think I'm only familiar with her through the DC animated universe, but I really connected with how the authors tied her powers into both mysticism and kind of actual human history. Like there's a spread at the beginning of her chapter that I kind of drew from the ancient cave art of Lascaux, France, where I kind of depicted her running along with a bunch of other actual cheetahs. Then trying to think, how do I superimpose like a cheetah skeleton onto a woman's skeleton? How would her eyes actually work? Like when you're drawing a comic, a lot of times, you tell the story and you have kind of a further away look at the characters, but with this one I was like, well, what if they were photo-reflective? What if they were more like an actual animal? So you could kind of just go into more detail and stuff like that. Killer Croc was interesting to do too. Like I got to draw a sequence where you saw the progression of his skin condition. So I kind of drew him like as a young boy with just like a few warts and cracks, and then it just progressed until he's completely the scaly beast that we're all familiar with. I think what I liked most about this project was, in addition to suggestions like perhaps you could draw Darkseid's skin like this, maybe like a 3/4 view of Cheetah's skeleton, it was quite open-ended. In most of the sections they were saying do some kind of double-page spread that suggests what Aquaman's lungs may be like and how they may work. So I think we ended up with something that's a nice compromise between a little bit of a scientific notebook and then more of an artist's take. It's an amazing feeling to know that DC fans, for years maybe, are going to be enjoying looking at this book. This is the kind of book that I would have loved myself as a kid if I were just walking into a bookstore to just leaf through if I got it. So I hope that it has that kind of staying power. I hope that's not too presumptuous to say, but I think it's a really detailed, deep dive look into some more kind of esoteric corners of the DC universe. So I think there's definitely a lot of content for people to go back to and enjoy.